It is Monday, November 17th, and welcome to the Morning Update. Today we're going to talk about Starbucks, a company that I described back in 2019 as sucking. Starbucks coffee sucks. It does. I've been drinking coffee since I was 6 years old. Their coffee is overpriced, pretentious crap. And you are free to disagree. Spend your money to make woke liberal wonderkind Howard Schultz wealthier. But if you'd like an alternative to any of that, Dunkin' Donuts is apolitical. Starbucks has had a long history of, well, let's start from the beginning. Starbucks started out as a shining example of free market capitalism. They went from nothing to over 17,000 locations. They thrived at everything they attempted to do, from where they got their coffee to how they got their coffee to all the brands and styles and marketing and everything else. Extremely successful company. And then it started to get woke. I mean, it started in Seattle, so that was inevitable, right? But really, they started lecturing their customers, race together. There was one incident where a barista asked a police officer to leave because it made his customers feel unsafe. It's got a long history of really bad behavior. Hiring refugees instead of citizens, the environmental nonsense. Anyway, it's pretentious crap. And I just don't like their coffee. I mean, even if their coffee was the best coffee in the world, I think all of those woke ideas combined would probably make me not want to have anything to do with them. But last week, they went on strike. You probably didn't notice because it was only 1,000 employees, give or take. And they have 11,000 union employees and over 200,000 actual in-store employees, which represents a fraction of their employees. They're complaining. They aren't getting enough money. They need more money per hour, as if working as a barista is the kind of job that you would get where you could sustain a family, for example. Anyway, here's some reporting from ABC News. Starbucks baristas are set to walk off the job in dozens of U.S. cities on Thursday, aiming to galvanize public support and pressure the company on Red Cup Day, the coffee giant's annual holiday promotion. Red Cup. Sounds Marxist. Anyway, more than 1,000 Starbucks workers will go on strike at about 65 stores scattered across states as far-flung as California, Texas, and Pennsylvania. Starbucks Workers United, the union representing the workers, told ABC News in a statement. So again, allowing baristas to unionize was another problem Starbucks embraced because they're woke and stupid. They're like, oh, look, we care about workers. You care about workers. 11,000 out of 200,000 joined the union. And when they had a strike, only 1,000 walked off for a day or two or whatever it ended up being. And did anybody really care or notice? There's another Starbucks up the frickin' street probably where they could go to get their coffee. Or they could go somewhere else. In New England, that's Dunkin' Donuts. So anyway, union members say Starbucks has failed to make new proposals on key issues like staffing levels and pay since the labor group rejected a company offer in April. If you go to the website for the union, which is sbworkersunited.org, they're fighting for their 11,000 baristas at over 5,500 Starbucks stores. And what are they fighting for?
I think this photo shoot is premature, Jerry. We haven't even decided whether we'll be a coffee company or a studio specializing in mermaid porn.
Either way, we're gonna need a logo. Ooh, let's shoot the sexy one first.
That model was someone's child, and she died in a topless mermaid costume.
It was an accident.
That was a sign from God. We're not doing mermaid porn, got it?
Fine, we'll do the coffee thing. But we still need a logo, and photo shoots ain't cheap.
We'll use this in her memory. We'll crop it.
We demand better hours to improve staffing in our stores. Understaffing sucks. I get that. I've run restaurants. I know what that means. And just about every restaurant chain with a drive-through attached to it is having this issue. But they somehow managed to get over it without a union and without strikes. And again, these are starter jobs. These aren't, I mean, you could get a career in fast food. I went from working for $2.35 an hour at McDonald's to making $60,000, $70,000 a year as a restaurant manager. That was some successful effort, but I learned a lot of skills along the way, and I took those skills from the restaurant industry out into the tech world, where I've been ever since. It's a starting job. It's not a career. Get over yourself. We demand higher take-home pay so we can pay our bills. Again, it's a starter job. You get some skills at this job and you take them to another job where you deserve to make more money. Coffee's pretty expensive. I know Trump just said he's lowering the tariffs, and that's all part of it. We have to have a little pain so that his tariff plan can work over the course of the next year or two to really bring jobs and investment back to America, which is what he's been doing. So I'm still okay with that. Anyway, $30 an hour to pour coffee, that's just stupid. We demand resolution for hundreds of outstanding unfair labor practices and charges for union busting. I think they have Starbucks on this one because they accepted the union. They allowed them to unionize. They didn't do anything to prevent it. And once they said, hey, look, we have a union. We're so cool and woke. Now they have to deal with the union. And the union's right. They have protections under labor laws as a union. And I think they would like to be rid of it because while they did manage to survive the pandemic and they did have slight increases in growth in 2021 and 2022, sales and growth have been down about 5% since then. So 2023 and 2024, minus 5% growth both years. They're not being successful in the current economic environment. Paying baristas $30 an hour probably isn't going to happen. This is a business decision. And if you want to run your business that way, knock yourself out. And if you want to run your union that way, knock yourself out. But you need to be realistic, okay? Or nobody's going to get anything except pretentious coffee. And like I said, I don't much care for it. Don't forget about Grok Talk tonight at 8 p.m. and all the other great content, including podcasts, every night of the week, right here on GraniteGrok.com.